Y'all mean with Toby?
Yeah.
All right, if you had to choose any cereal growing
Okay.
up, you can only eat one cereal for the rest of your life. Kid Toby, the child version of you, what cereal would you pick?
Oh, cinnamon toast crunch.
Oh wow, that was no hesitation.
That, oh my God, it's so good. So my mom, I feel like because she's an educator, was like, Cheerios, they're good for your heart and like all of that. When I finally got cinnamon toast crunch, it's a game changer. That is so good. That's like, it felt so adult too. I don't want tricks. I don't want like,
Lucky Charms?
no, I
You
don't
ain't eat
want, I don't think I've ever had Lucky Charms before.
ever?
No, no, I don't think I have ever.
Wow.
That's the ones with the marshmallows, right?
Hell yeah, with the
Yeah, I've never
leprechaun.
had that.
Silent. I'm in shock. Wait, let me see your cord. Sorry. Okay.
Can you hear me?
You online shop?
I do. I hate going to stores.
Where do you shop the most for clothes?
Um, I don't know. I feel like I shop everywhere for clothes. I really like, I don't know, I really like Pretty Little Thing lately.
Okay.
Just because they have some good dresses. I'm back in my dress era.
Okay. Do women have eras of dresses?
I feel like I went a long time where I really wasn't into wearing dresses, like at all.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen you in a dress.
right. I went through a very long no dress era.
What do you think the dress era represents in Toby?
Um, I feel like I was talking to somebody about this the other day. So I'm when it comes to like makeup and like hair and all that, like I feel like I'm very feminine in that sense. But I feel like I have always also leaned very heavily on like I guess my masculine side of like more so like just feeling like I can do any and everything, like feeling like I don't need anybody to do anything
Right.
for me.
Okay.
But right now, I feel like I'm leaning so much into like my feminine side and like really embracing like that softer side of me. And so
Okay.
I feel like I just feel so fucking sexy lately. I do. And that's not
Okay.
anything that I've ever thought that I would say, but I feel good
Okay.
just in my sexy soft girl like and not in the like gold digger sense. Like I really feel like I deserve everything, not like easy, but I just feel like I'm in a place in my life where I'm like I want to embrace that like soft side of myself, like
Right. The feminine.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so now I've been like, ooh, this dress look good. And I lost 20 pounds this year.
I was gonna hint towards that next, but go ahead. We're
So,
not losing 20 pounds, but go ahead.
yeah, so I'm like, I don't know. I feel hot as fuck. Like, I'm just in that.
She said
I'm in
hot.
that. I do. Getting into my white girl bag. I feel hot.
Yeah.
I feel fucking hot as shit. Yeah, no, I feel good. Like, I feel
Okay.
very, very, like, just good about me. I've done a lot of, like, internal work. And it really has nothing to do with my looks, honestly.
So I was gonna ask because you said like I forgot it's probably at least 90 seconds ago, but you were basically insinuating like you feel good, you feel like you look good and shit. So do you like? I know we talked off camera about I know you haven't drank in how long? You haven't had any
Ooh,
alcohol in.
it's been like, let me see. I got the little app on my phone. Let's see.
Okay.
That's keeping track. I have not drank in 175 days.
Okay, so we're almost at 6 months.
Yeah.
So probably right around like beginning of May.
June. Beginning of
Okay.
June, yeah.
I mean, damn, yeah. Damn. We're in the 12th month. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah. Wow. So like, what do you think? I know we talked like about what sort of responded, but like, what do you think in your mind? Like, was there like a moment when something flipped when you were like, all right, not only do I want to not really drink, but I want to like, because I know you said you started getting active. Mm-hmm. So like, what sparked your like journey, or was it one event, or was it a few things?
It was several events.
Okay.
So, earlier this year, with like March, I went through a breakup, a very like abrupt and messy, not cute breakup. And so that also was, I moved because of that, because obviously I wasn't staying in the house.
Right.
So I moved. And then right after I moved, my grandma passed. So that was like a
Rest in
lot.
peace.
So then I went home for like the funeral and stuff like that, came back to Atlanta. A couple weeks later, I get laid off. So at that point, I'm spiraling. I'm like, what the fuck? So I was, of course, like going out and drinking a lot just because I was like, I don't even want to have to think about any of the shit that I'm going through.
Right.
But at the same time, I like found a new therapist. And so like I was going to my therapist, obviously talking to her about everything. And she's like, you need to find like a more positive outlet for your feelings. So I was very angry. Like I was angry. I just had a lot going on. So I actually stopped drinking before I started working out, because she kept being like, oh, we need to find like the root cause. And I realized that like, I feel like our society, if we're sad, let's drink about it. We mad, let's drink about it. Yeah. Something good happens, oh, let's celebrate, let's go drink. And so I realized that like a lot of our emotions and a lot of our feelings are then tied into like drinking, or like whether it's a celebration or you're trying to get over whatever. And I just felt like I wasn't gaining any clarity, because anytime I was feeling any type of negative emotion, instead of dealing with it, I'm like, fuck it, let's just go get fucked up and not think about shit. Okay. So
that was so specific.
Let's just not think about shit. So honestly, I stopped drinking first because she was telling me to work out, and I was like, I'm not doing that. Like, girl, find something else to do. Like, I'm not going to work out. So honestly, I went out drinking with a couple friends, and then the next day I woke up and I was sad. Like, I was like sad. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is not normal. Like, I don't feel good. Like, it wasn't a hangover. Like, I was like depressed. So that day I was like, I'm not drinking anymore.
And
that was the last day I drank.
Okay. Congrats.
Thanks.
So do you have like a time length, or is this kind of just?
No. Originally I just didn't want to be sad anymore. So, okay. I was like, I don't want to be a sad bitch. So yeah, originally I stopped drinking because I didn't want to be sad. And I wanted to deal with being sad so I could get over being sad. Because I realized that, like, if I was just doing other things to distract myself, like, bitch, you still sad.
Okay.
So I think that, like, me dealing with how I felt about everything, then I realized that, like, I didn't need alcohol. Like, I felt like for the longest time, like, I equated like meeting new people and being social and all of that with it. And now I'm like, I really only am around people that I genuinely want to be around, because if for a second you make me feel like I need a fucking drink to deal with this person, I'm not going to deal with you.
Damn, that's real.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, I don't really have a timeline, because I don't miss it. And I feel like I'm a fucking vibe.
I love you.
With or without alcohol, like, I'm a fucking vibe. So it's like, shit, let me be around some people that bring that side out of me. Because, like I said, a lot of people don't realize it, because I am, like, I feel like I wear very well. But I'm, like, I'm such an anxious person. But people wouldn't ever believe that, I feel like, because I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, you've never really given off anxious. I would have never gotten anxious.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, people overthinking shit, but I don't know. Anxious comes with like I feel like I'm anxious.
Yeah.
I equate anxious as like jittery. Like, and you seem always. I've known you like a decent part of your life, 6 years.
Yeah.
Almost. You seem like.
I feel like I'm very level-headed and I'm very balanced now. This year just felt so chaotic, so I had to figure out ways to like create peace for myself.
So what are some of your methods? 'Cause I feel like a lot of people at home can use this.
I know this sounds so cliche, but working out helps a lot. Like, I go to a boxing gym twice a week.
Really?
Yeah. I originally started working out because I wanted to fight.
Okay. Y'all heard it here.
Yeah. You know what? Like, I'm telling you, this year was kicking my ass, and I was like, fight back, bitch. Yeah, I originally started going to the boxing gym because I was angry. And when my therapist told me I needed a positive outlet, I originally, like, started looking at boxing gyms. So I was like, if I can't punch who I want to punch, then let me punch a bag.
Okay.
But I went, and it made me feel so empowered, like, after that class. I cry after boxing sometimes. I've cried before.
Okay.
But it's such a release. Like, I had a fucking terrible day the other day, and thank God I was going to the boxing gym later. And I went, and it was just like, I feel like going there twice a week gives me 2 opportunities to lay everything that I'm feeling on the floor or on the bags.
Wow.
And I love that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like envisioning this. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Like that approach, because when you said, you and I, we keep up like on social media and shit. I don't know like everything you do, and so I never knew that you do boxing. Like, I know you've been working out. You know what I'm saying? But like, that's such an interesting and like intriguing, compelling like workout medium. Because like when I hear workout, I'm not gonna lie. I think like fucking normal shit like the stair climber and shit. Maybe some weights, but like boxing, if you can find something to justify letting out anger in a productive way and get a workout, that is wow.
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of need that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get into a therapy session, but
no, for real. Like, I tell people all the time, I'm like, I'm not the best at articulating negative emotions.
Okay.
And so I harbor a lot of negative emotions on the inside. And then usually I'll like have a meltdown at some point when like it's just too heavy. But honestly, like having some type of outlet that is like going to release something.
Okay.
Like, I just feel like I said, some weeks I'm having a great week and I'm just happy to be there. But some weeks I need it. Like, I'm telling you, some weeks I will like go and then I will take the class and then I will cry in my car after because I needed that. It like helped me like open up the like can so I can release like whatever I'm feeling. So yeah, I do that. I do a lot of hot girl walks, is what I like to call them.
Please explain.
So it's just walk, like there's a trail by my apartment, and some days I'll just get up and I'll go there, put my headphones on, and I'll just walk. I usually do at least like 4 or 5 miles, and I just walk.
Wow, I usually do about 3. Music. Okay. 4 or 5.
Yeah, I go to Stone Mountain a lot too, and I walk the base. The base is 5 miles.
I've always lived, I guess, closer to Kennesaw Mountain.
Okay.
I've been to Stone Mountain once, so I like. There's something about walking in the mountain that's like different.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it's
I love it.
It feels like, I feel like it's like the closest thing you can get to like feeling like you're not in the city.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I guess like living in a city like Atlanta, it's like, yeah, you can kind of trick yourself into being like, I'm like in the abyss. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I never knew that. Toby, that's cool as fuck.
Yeah. So I do that. I only did it once, but I feel like this is a good practice too. Like, say you're upset with someone, or you feel like you need an apology that you're not going to get, which I feel like happens more often than, like, usually if something happens between you, and it could be a friend, it could be a significant other, it could be family. Like, a lot of times, like, you're upset about something that you're probably not going to get an apology for. And so recently I wrote out like everything I was feeling. Like, shit ended up being like 4 paragraphs. I didn't even know I had that much to say. But I wrote it to get it out of my system, like to get it off my chest.
Right.
But just like, I feel like writing down how you feel, especially in moments that you feel anxious, like it gets that up off of you.
That's so interesting you say that, because you know how you can like hear that voice inside like trying to compel you to do something. Mm-hmm. I feel like for like years I've been hearing this voice be like, bro, you gotta start writing shit down. And it's so crazy because yesterday at work I'm reading this book. It's called Becoming Supernatural. Great book.
Okay.
And it was talking about just like, I got to this part where it was just exercise where you have to write down like some of your goals and things and like really write them down, but like be vivid and specific about what you want. I wasn't gonna do it because it felt corny, you know. Just being honest. Like, to me, I'm like, oh, this is corny. I don't have to write this down. But it's so wild. Just like you, like I found myself. I wrote the first thing, and next thing I know, my page is filled.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it felt like such a release, and I kind of had this epiphany that like thoughts are real, you know, and it's like. Sometimes I look at our brains and our heads like computers or like storage devices. You know what I'm saying? And they come with like a certain amount of storage before it's just too much. And so like to get these thoughts, like though they're not like physical and like tangible, they're like a real thing and they take up space. So like when we can write it out and like get it out of our head, it's like freeing up space like on a memory card.
Yeah.
And I just felt so light. And I'm just like, bro, we have to keep this up, because I was just like, after 8 minutes, I'm looking at this page. I'm like, bro, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, this is all in your head. And, you know, and it's, I don't know if it's pride. I don't know what it is, but like, there's this like thing in my head that I have to get over of like, it's not that deep to have to write, but it's crazy. Like in hearing you say this, like confirmation, like, no, it really is that deep.
It is. And even if it's like the smallest thing, because I used to journal a lot as a kid. At the end of every day, I write everything down. The only reason I stopped, my mother, because she'll probably watch this, was reading my diary out loud to one of her friends. Yes.
She works in TMZ.
Oh my God. We just talked about this the other day. So I'm over it. My mom knows that I'm completely joking. But
we love you.
No, but she was reading my journal out loud to one of her friends. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you just got, because I definitely feel like you can have a bad day, but try not to have 2 bad days in a row. So if you feel like you're going to carry something over to the next day, like, maybe just write that shit out. Because honestly, like I said, when I wrote that letter, I was like, just kept going and kept, I'm like, God damn, bitch, like you got a lot that you need to get off your chest. But I did. And like, as soon as I finished writing it, I honestly felt like I had been holding my breath for months and didn't even realize it. And I finally felt like I was like breathing normally. Like it was literally on my chest. And so like writing it out and like getting that off my chest was like the best thing ever, because after that I was like, oh, okay, like I can move the fuck on. Like you're okay. You're gonna be okay, you know?
So now that you just mentioned like saying out loud, so do you practice like speaking things out loud, like, either what you want or like I don't know. Do you just practice like speaking?
No.
Me either. I need to.
No, people be like, look in the mirror and tell yourself. Like, I'm like, okay, like, I'm not doing that. I can't. Some people do. Like, some people swear by like speaking stuff out loud. I can't. It's so weird. Like, I already live by myself, so I feel like I'm already having like constant internal dialogue. I'm not saying it out loud. That's just a whole nother level.
Okay, I feel that. I feel that because I want to get into it. Being real, you know, I want to. Yeah, I want to just break past this like this wall in my head of like, oh, this would be corny or this would be because just personally, like, I just never forget like when I had this epiphany about the Bible, like about Genesis chapter 1. I'm like, yo, it's crazy. And for whatever religion you believe in, you know what I'm saying? Even if it's just like conceptually, I was like, it is kind of wild that like you got this book about what at least starts with God creating everything, like the first chapter. And it's like he really chose speech to do it all. And I just like when that like clicked in my head, I'm just like, that is like, you know, it could have been done, I don't know, the snap of a finger or just something different, but I'm like, why was speech so harped upon? And, you know, then you can get into like physical vibrations and like that kind of thing, but like I would just love to like I want to break free of this just like self prison that I think I put myself in sometimes when it's like just write it out or just speak it out, you know, and like you said, like well, kind of like what you alluded to, like maybe it's not for everybody, like one thing or the other, but I gotta try it and see which one's for me, you know, because that shit can seem so corny and cliche, like you were saying, but like it's real. Like the way I felt last night when I wrote that shit down on paper, it was a weird like. And this probably feeling like it's and that's when I feel like it's like God or whoever you believe in is like really moving because it's like my pride did not want to do that. You know, like it seriously like my physical flesh did not want to do that, but it was like something beyond me was like, no nigga, you need this. And so then once I felt that needed shit that the voice was telling me, I'm like,
you know what's crazy? So this year in particular, it's like a voice is telling me to do something or not to do something. So because you said that, I'll share. So I feel like before, if I was like debating or thinking about something, it was like my internal voice, right? This year, a lot of the times that, like, even when I decided to stop drinking, it wasn't my internal voice that was telling me. It was like a different voice. And I kept telling people, I'm like, I feel like that was God telling me, like, you know, this, that, like, even with me finding out I was being cheated on, it wasn't my internal voice that told me to check the iPad. It was like another voice that was telling me, like, hey, bitch, you need to go ahead, get to snooping. And the same thing when I decided to stop drinking. Like, it was like, yes, I woke up sad as fuck. And I was like, okay, we don't listen to you. Because the last time that this voice told me something,
right,
it was a horrible thing that I had to find out, but it was correct. So, like, I felt like this year in particular, like, I feel like God has been looking out for your girl, for real. And, like, things have been a little messy this year.
Right.
Like, shit hasn't gone the way that I feel like we, at the top of the year, I was doing, like, a vision board. Like, the typical, like, oh, let's. So, on New Year's Eve, I did.
Shout out to the vision board community.
I'm doing another one next Saturday, so I'm not knocking it. But, New Year's Eve, I was like, I'm going to do a vision board. And it said, like, I'm not doing anything else. I don't usually go out on New Year's Eve because that's just, like, never been my thing. Yeah. But this year, I'm like, I'm going to do a vision board. So I was asking God at the top of this year, I'm like, you know, I want whatever you want for me. I want my life to change. I want this, that, and the other, right? And you say these things.
Yeah.
And you think it's going to be all sunshine and rainbows, and it's just going to be so lovely. Oh, God turned me on my motherfucking head, okay?
Yeah, if you're
and
not...
shook me, okay? He picked me up by my feet and shook me. Like, nothing about anything that's happened to me this year has been cute. But it's been necessary.
Yeah.
Like, I even equate, like, everything that happens to me this year. It's like, between everywhere from the breakup down to me getting laid off from my job, I fucking hated that job and I hated them people, right? I was not going I did.
Hey, that's life.
I hated them people, okay? I wasn't going to leave, though. And did I want to get laid off? Absolutely not. But I also feel like I wasn't supposed to be there anymore. Yeah. It was me and 39 other people. So it wasn't personal, but it was necessary. You know what I mean? And like everything that's happened to me, like I feel like such a better and a freer and a more balanced person. And it only is because like I literally like got shaken, got tested, like my boundaries got tested, my faith got tested, like everything has been tested this year. And of course, like when you're in the moment, like it just feels so heavy and so negative. But like I've gotten to the other side of every single thing that has happened. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there is nothing that has happened that has broken me to the point where I'm not sitting here with you having this conversation. Yeah. And so it's like, okay, God, I see what you did there, but like you didn't have to have me on your strongest soldier list this year. And I want off next year. I don't want to be on your strongest soldier list next year. So thank you so much for all the lessons you taught me this year. Please put me on the other list in 2024.
I feel you. My cousin and I were joking about this a few weeks ago that like when you pray and shit, if you're not specific with God, God plays too fucking much. Man. You know, like so yeah, like it's funny how like you can really and Asante, one of my best friends, you know Asante.
I love Asante, yeah.
Shout out Asante and Marnisha and their beautiful daughter.
Oh yeah, all of them.
It's something he's been saying for a year, like since I met him. He's like, you know, you really get what you ask for. And one thing to kind of allude back to what I was telling you about last night about writing down things, you know, like one thing the book was saying was like, just be very specific, you know what I'm saying? Because like you said, you can be vague. You know, one of my cousins passed away recently, and at the funeral, both his sisters were talking about how like, I guess he had been telling like his sisters and his family like, yo, you know, I really want to get everybody together this year on my birthday. And like he was pushing for it. He ends up passing away. Just so happened the funeral, because of holidays and shit, ended up falling on his birthday. You know?
Shut up.
And it's like
That's crazy.
It's wild. And like when I was listening, I was just like, it just made me, I felt a bunch of different ways. Of course, it's a funeral, you know, you're sad and things, but I felt like that was like a message from God of like, and not that like that, everything happened for a reason, but I don't know, it was just, something was in that where I was like, you do have to be specific, you know, because.
Because all I said is I want my life to change. I kept saying that. I'm like, I just want my life to change. I just want my life to change.
God said, hold my beer.
Right. I'm like, okay, so.
I got you, dog.
I know what I said, but like, but you know what? I am loving being single, right? So I had started like chronicling me going on dates, right?
Okay.
Because it was like, my DMs are in shambles daily.
Wait, like lots of
guys in my DMs, like guys, girls, like it doesn't matter. There's nothing is off limits. Okay, so
hold on. Let me make sure shit's still recording. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me make sure we got speak. I want to hear.